So are there those of us who've come here with more resistance on purpose?
None of you said, I will be deliberately resistant. All of you said, resistance is part of a leading edge experience. And the more resistance I offer, the greater my desire to feel good will be. So there's no way I will ever really lose in this, because even the most resistant among you are the most desirous of feeling good among you. And when desire is really strong, it will trump belief every time.
And so how does past life baggage come into play here?
It doesn't.
At all.
Well, only in the sense that who you've become still stands as that powerful being.
Okay.
But the part that you're calling baggage is the stuff not wanted. And that stuff not wanted is left out of the vortex. And only what's in the vortex is ever coming forward, coming forward, coming forward, coming forward, coming forward. This is a wonderful conversation we're having here.
So I'm so confused about past life baggage, because
let's say you were living before and you knew what you didn't want, you knew what you did want, and you put it into your vortex. And let's say that you stayed resistant through that experience, or didn't, doesn't matter. You lined up with some of it, like most people, and didn't line up with some of it. But then you reemerged into non-physical and lined up with all of it. Now it is from that vantage point that you reemerge back into the physical. So this vortex, this non-physical vortex, is the holding place of all things wanted. The unwanted is not held there.
So what's past life recall about?
Well, often someone will say, I had this past life regression or this past life recollection. So now I'm certain that this bad thing that happened to me in this life happened in that one and that one and that one and that one and that one too. Now I sort of understand it. And we say, well, we don't know if you're getting your past life or somebody else's, but one thing is sure, you're getting what's active in your vibration right now. It makes you feel like you're getting it from some past life because you didn't make it up. It was a recollection that came. It was the grid that filled in. So the conclusion is flawed. The conclusion that you must have lived it before, the correct answer is you're living it now.
So it's not about going through it and going through it until we get it.
Never.
Never.
It's going through it and going through it and going through it because it's fun.
Because it's fun.
Going through it and going through it and going through it because
there.
it's exhilarating. Going through it and going through it and going through it because it's what life is.
Yeah.
We are all eternal beings and we are joyful in our eternalness, you see. And anything less than that is off a tad.
So if you were punished for being joyful as a kid and as an adult, you're trying to embrace
all it did is make you want
bigger.
more joy. And so your vortex has the potential of bringing you more joy than someone who didn't want it as much.
And so
when you find some way of clarifying your mind through meditation and stopping resistance, the joy that comes to you will be greater than it ever could have been otherwise.
And
so then you look back and you say, that wasn't such a bad experience after all, because it gave me a desire. We just don't think you should let so much separation get between it, you see.
So self-sabotage abates as you continue to get into the vortex.
Self-sabotage is just the grid filling in. It's just the grid filling in. Everything's about the grid. Once you get this clear about what grid you've got going on and you convince yourself that you have control over your grid, then there'll be no more grid filling in with unwanted things. Everything that happens to you that you don't want is self-sabotage. When something wonderful would happen to Esther, she would say, I did that. And when something not so great would happen, she would say, I did that too. Because she is understanding that it's her point of attraction, and how she feels, she owns completely. Nice to know.